I thought about going to the rock garden, you know? It's been a minute since I've just hung out there. I even made a new rock friend a few weeks ago. This perfectly spherical piece of granite. I named him, Granity Smith. Real original, I know. Anyway, yeah, something's up. I don't know what. So naturally, I went to the rock garden. Needed some Granity Smith time. Except it wasn't there. Gone. Vanished. Debacle of a disappearance, really. I mean, who steals a rock? Okay, so that's not the weirdest part. Tacked to the little sign about not disturbing the rocks, which someone clearly ignored, was a flyer. A flyer for the geology club. I thought that thing died 2 years ago. I heard they stopped doing it because no one would show up. Like no one cared. But maybe that's the something I've been feeling all day. Maybe that's the static. The return of the geology club. Okay, unrelated, but the rock garden is looking rough. Seriously neglected. Weeds everywhere, some of the signs are falling over, and God forbid someone tripped over the shale circle again. So I started pulling weeds. I figured, if the geology club is actually a thing again, we gotta get this place looking presentable. It's a rock garden, not a rock junkyard. I can't believe I'm saying this, but maybe there's hope for this geology club. I'm almost excited to go to the meeting later. Almost. So, the geology club meeting. It was an experience. Picture this, right? Cramped classroom, flickering fluorescent lights. I walk in expecting a handful of people who felt that weird static feeling in the universe. Nope. Just one guy. One dude, sitting at the head of the table, practically vibrating with enthusiasm. Name's Chad. Total geology, bro. Anyway, Chad's like, "Craig, you made it! You're the first one all semester!" Real pumped up. And I'm thinking, oh boy, what have I gotten myself into? So we're chatting, or rather, Chad's chatting at me about the club, about rocks, about the upcoming Regional Geology Conference, which sounds terrifying. And then I ask him about Granity Smith. And guess who has Granity Smith? Chad. Chad took him. Apparently, he thought it was a particularly interesting specimen and needed to study it further. He promised to return him, though, said he's learned all he can from Granity's sphericalness. But get this, he's graduating this year and nobody wants to take over the geology club. He practically begged me to be president. Me, president! I almost choked on my water. I told him, "Chad, I'm a freshman. I barely know which end of a hammer to hold when chipping at shale. Also, I'm studying film." But he wouldn't let it go. Said I had passion and vision. He laid it on thick, really thick. So I did what any reasonable person would do. I made a deal. I told him I'd consider being president if we could get the rock garden looking less like a geological wasteland and more like a garden. Specifically, I said, we need to address the weed situation, realign the shale circle, and add some labels that don't look like they were written with a crayon by a toddler. He agreed, said he'd help. Apparently, even Chad knows the rock garden is an embarrassment to the entire geology department. So now, I might be the accidental president of the geology club? Which is insane, but I've actually been thinking about it. If I were president, what would I do? First of all, mandatory rock garden cleanup days. Everyone gets a pair of gloves and a trowel. We blast some music, maybe have snacks, make it a social thing. Second, field trips. Not just to dusty quarries, but to cool geological formations. Imagine a trip to the Grand Canyon, or even just a really awesome local cave. Third, guest speakers. Not just professors droning on about sedimentary layers, but actual working geologists. People who are out there doing cool stuff with rocks. Maybe someone who studies volcanoes, or someone who hunts for meteorites. And fourth, we need to make geology accessible. Less jargon, more hands-on activities. More showing people why rocks are actually interesting, not just piles of dirt. Maybe even start a rock and mineral identification station in the student union. People could bring in their mystery rocks, and we could help them figure out what they are. Okay, I'm getting carried away. But seriously, Em, the geology club, me, this could be something. Something good, even. Okay, bye, Em, I can't wait to hear back from you. So, Chad and I, the newly appointed dynamic duo of geological revitalization, spent like 2 hours dragging Granity Smith back to his rightful place. Turns out spherical granite, while aesthetically pleasing, is not ergonomically designed for easy transport. But here's the thing, Em. While we were hauling rocks and pulling weeds, I started thinking, this whole geology club president thing, it might actually be a good excuse to whip that rock garden into shape. And then I thought, who do I know who's really good at making things look nice? Who has an eye for detail and isn't afraid to get their hands dirty? You. Em, you should come visit. We could totally make the rock garden amazing. Like seriously amazing. We could label all the rocks with calligraphy and build little miniature geological landscapes. We could even put little tiny dinosaur figurines next to the Jurassic period shale. Okay, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but seriously, imagine it. You, me, rocks, sunshine. It would be way better than spending your weekends doing laundry and writing essays. Plus, you could finally meet Granity Smith in person. He's really quite charming for a piece of granite. And I really miss you, Em. It would be so fun if you came. Okay, bye, Em. I can't wait to hear back from you.